That old expression that crime doesn't pay used to be true, but nowadays hardcore criminals, even serial killers sitting on death row, can sell their stories to networks and the studios hungry for their next smash hit movie. Today we're going to look at whether or not we're making criminals into celebrities. Please welcome Mr. Henry Hill. Henry began his life in the mafia at age 12, and years later he was involved in one of the largest cash robberies in this country's history. $5.8 million. His story became the best-selling book called Wise Guy, which was later turned into and made into the Oscar-nominated film Goodfellas. Thank you very much, Henry, for being here.
Thank you.
Henry, the first question is, do you feel as if though all of the things that you've done in your past, everything that's happened in your past, the fact that you were in the witness protection program, that you should now be able to cash in on that and make a living on that now because you were at one point, you know, a convicted criminal?
Correct, but now I do feel like that I'm entitled to it.
You're entitled to do this?
Yes, I am. I work very hard at what I do. It took me many, many years to to write the material, to do the material that I've sold. It took the Supreme Court of the United States to turn the law around so I would be able to receive the benefits.
To do just that. Well, let me ask you this. Let's go back for a second, because a lot of people, I know just about everyone in this country, saw the movie Goodfellas. It's now out on videotape. You can rent it. You can see it on cable. You've seen it, and a lot of people know some of that story. Do you feel that it really showed a lot of your life? The character that was played in there by, was it Liotta or?
Yes, Ray Liotta. It was 95% accurate, Montel, and you know, I cannot change my past. All I can do is be a better person today. I lived that life. I was a product of my environment. Fortunately, I was one of very few people that was able to change my life. 12 years ago, I got out of the mafia. I went to work for the government. I've been doing that for the last 12 years, trying to give back a little bit of, you know, of what I could give back today. And, well, you know, I live a positive life today, and I feel today I'm entitled to earn, you know, for my labor.
Okay, but now let's back up for a second. During that period of time that you were in the mafia and you were working for them, you stole, correct? You extorted money out of people?
Yes.
You never murdered anyone yourself, is that correct?
Correct.
But you were present when people were murdered?
Yes.
You even were involved in this term, hits on people, where you helped tell who had to be taken out?
Yes. I buried bodies. I did a lot of things that, you know, disgusting things in my life. It was, that was part of the life. That's all I knew at the time. It was like being a soldier. I followed orders from the commanders, and I did what I had to do. Fortunately, but you know, by the grace of God, I was able to change my life and get out of that life.
But looking at the movie and thinking about the movie, and I've seen it, I don't know, 5, 6 times, I think, total, I saw a person a younger version of yourself, and I saw this person who seemed to he enjoyed everything he did. When somebody got their face smashed in, he laughed. When he saw a person get shot, a young man get shot in a basement over a card game because he wouldn't deliver water fast enough, based on your life story, a person was shot and killed. How did you feel during this period of time? Were you really that character? I mean, the way you looked, the way you acted, you know, with no remorse, did you really feel that way?
At that time, I had no remorse. And, you know, it was something that was instilled at me at 10, 11 years old, and it was a way of life for me.
How about now, though? Now that the Supreme Court has overturned some of the rules, and it was a ruling based on the son of Sam and his murders, where the Supreme, or not the Supreme Court, but I guess the state court said murderers or people on death row could not earn any money for their stories with the press or in any way, shape, or form. Then this was overturned for you, and for now everyone on death row.
Correct.
How do you feel today knowing that people like Dahmer, Richard Ramirez, Wesley Allen Dodd can get paid hefty amounts of money for all the tragedy that they've caused in people's lives, even yourself?
Well, the Supreme Court left it open. They left each state now to change the laws, define them down, and not make it as broad as it was in the beginning. And if anyone has read the decision, they would understand that. I mean, it was a First Amendment right that was reversed. And
a First Amendment right? Well, no, there's a right in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and to be able to write what you choose to write. Correct. But it's a different story to be able to make money off of other people's tragedy, in a way. I mean, if you write the story, you're on death row. Do you feel that Dahmer should be able to receive $1 million, $2 million for his story?
Personally, no.
But now, what do you think about the people who are family members of some of your victims? Should they share in some of the wealth that you're making, recounting the stories of their own deaths?
The 8 justices in the Supreme Court are the ones that made that decision. I didn't make the decision.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you said these days you're a more positive person. Who does the money go to benefit? How are you affecting the world in a better way by writing your story?
I work with children today. I work in drug rehab.
You're working in drug, and you also are still working for the FBI or for the federal agencies as far as their information about the mobs and things
Absolutely.
of that nature, right?
I go to Washington about once a month. I do seminars for the FBI. I'm working on a series of training films for the FBI.
Are you still in the witness protection plan?
No, but I'm associated with them.
I have a question for you. Are you afraid that the mafia will have a hit out on you?
There's a lot of people out there that would love to see me dead, yes.
I will tell you, he may be a little afraid. I'm very afraid. We've brought on extra security today, having Mr. Hill here in the audience with us because, you know, as I look around this audience, I don't know, there could be one of two or you people in here that are plants here to do something to Mr. Hill, and we don't want it to happen.
Exactly what made you want to change your life and better it?
It was a process of, I realized what I was doing, you know, at the age of 36, 37 years old. You know, and I seen all the tragedy that was around me. And bottom line, it was self-preservation.
Because looking in the movie, there was a scene in that movie that gave the impression that had you made that one last trip to Florida that the mob wanted you to make, you would be down there fish bait for someone right now if you had done that. Is that correct?
That's for sure.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about your life in the past with the mob and what you're doing now. We'll talk about that as soon as we come back.
Here's your graduation present.
Listen, what for? I got pinched.
Everybody gets pinched, but you did it right. You told them nothing, and they got nothing.
I thought you'd be mad.
Man, I'm not mad. I'm proud of you. You took your first pinch like a man, and you learned the 2 greatest things in life.
What?
Look at me. Never rat on your friends, and always keep your mouth shut.
We're talking about whether or not crime pays, and that was a clip from the movie Goodfellas depicting really your life, Henry. You got involved with the mob at age 12, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And let's fill us in with some of the details here. I mean, the movie made it seem as if you just kind of walked into the mob. I mean, were you recruited into the mob? Was it something that you asked to start doing?
No, I was a little kid, and these people were the role models in my neighborhood, and I was attracted to them. I was addicted by what they stood for. They drove Cadillacs. They walked around with rolls of $100 bills in their pockets. They never worked. My father used to go to work every day with his toolbox. I thought my father was a sucker. I thought these people had it all. And it was so intoxicating, that type of life to me, when I was, a child at that age. And I was just sucked into it little by little by little.
But after you were sucked in and you started doing the things that they wanted you to do, did you stop the day? I mean, what went through your mind the first time you had to do something that you knew involved taking somebody's life?
Personally, I felt terrible about it, but I got pats on the back. At home, I never got that. I felt part of. At that point in my life, I had felt part of something.
And how old were you? How old were you when that happened? The first time you were involved in someone's life being taken?
16 years old.
16. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, earlier you said that you had no remorse during this time, and yet now you don't mind reaping the rewards of telling your story of that time. It seems like you haven't really learned because you don't mind taking what you did wrong and making money off it.
No, I feel in the last 12 years, I have given back what I've taken.
Well, and you were part of, I mean, if you will, the way the American justice system is set up, you have paid your price to society, is that correct? Because they put you into a federal protection program for what you were able to do in turning over several people in the mob. As a matter of fact, you were the biggest turner over of mob people there has ever been, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me just, I want to clear up something I stated a little earlier. The Son of Sam law, which was the law that was overturned that allows Henry Hill and others like him to now make money off of these kinds of things, it was called the Son of Sam law, and it required that any money that a convicted or accused criminals earn from selling their stories must be placed in a state-run escrow account for 5 years. These funds are made available to any victims of the crime who come forward and can prove their eligibility during that time. That is now what has been overturned. The money no longer has to sit in escrow.
Correct.
Someone could still sue you now 10, 15 years later.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
And also, I was never convicted, charged with any one of the crimes that I wrote about or that was particular, that was shown in the movie.
But that was also part of your deal.
Yes, it was. But I'm also still with the government. I still work along with the government now.
Do you think these movies and books will make people not want to be in crime and the mob, or are they just for you? Do you think they're just for entertainment?
No, I know from my experience, the young people I've met, I've had a few of them tell me that after seeing Goodfellas, they want nothing to do with the mob. I've saved their life. I've changed their life. And if I could change one person's life, one young man's life, to see how it really is and what it's all about, that's okay for me.
And how much money did you make by selling your story?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit. And I understand that right now you are really even working on some manuscripts pertaining to Gotti, right? And
yeah, I have a
Teflon Don. Will you go ahead and sell that story if he doesn't?
Sold already.
Oh, really? And with his track record, I mean his alleged track record, aren't you a little worried about him knowing that you put his story out in the street?
Not at all.
How's your family affected by this? And how do they feel about you selling your story?
I have two families. My the family that you seen in the movie is I have two children in college today, an ex-wife. I also have a new family, a new baby, and when I get out of this seat, I take my makeup off. I get on a plane and I go to my generic neighborhood with the generic white fence, and I try to live a normal life and do what I can.
But with the generic big money that you're making, it's going to be kind of hard for you to continue to live an inconspicuous generic life.
The area is getting a little bigger.
Yeah, the fence is getting bigger, huh?
Yes, it is.
Now that you have lots of experience in crime and preventing crime and working with the FBI, and do you agree that the system does not work, first? And number two, what should we do to prevent crime?
No, I believe the system does work, and I believe that the government is doing everything possible, even recruiting people like myself to assist them in making new training films for new FBI agents, for old FBI agents, giving seminars, keeping on top of what's going on today.
Yes, sir.
Now, you say that you got out because you realized what you were doing and, how you were affecting other people, but according to the movie, you got out because they were going to send you down to Florida and they were going to knock you off. So, I mean, isn't that why you really got out? Because your life was in stake?
My life was in jeopardy.
And you chose to stay alive, and
absolutely.
That was the way to stay alive. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay, you said you work with kids. I wonder if they know about your past and what type of effect do you have on them?
Sometimes. I usually go what am I going to call?
Reform schools? Or?
Yeah, Camp Scutters, you know, places like that.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, in that,
with this,
oh, I'm sorry, a lot of these kids, and I'm not meaning to cut you off, but a lot of these kids, same question, if you will, a lot of kids will see the movie Goodfellas. They will see the HBO version, the big version, and they see it. And, you know, Ray Liotta is a pretty, you know, I guess to most people, most women that I know find this guy very, very attractive. And most guys will see that and say, boy, he was a nice guy. And the movie ended on a nice note, you know, with him winking at the camera as he walked away with his newspaper. Don't you think that some kids deep down inside would say, you know, I bet you I'm just a little smarter than Mr. Hill, and I could have gotten away with it?
I don't think that was the message that was sent out. What message I'm trying to give is that they can change their life, no matter how much trouble they're in, no matter how much time they have in a reform school or in a jail to do, they can change their life today. And I mean, I was able to change my life. Anyone can change their life.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel afraid every day that when you walk out on the streets that someone's going to recognize you?
Only when I'm dressed like this. No, I'm over that point. It's been 12 years, and I'm over that point.
Did you have plastic surgery or anything else?
No. You know, I mean, I stay alert constantly. Law enforcement in the areas that I'm located know about me if anything even comes up. You know, I move on an average of twice, every 2 or 3 years.
You're moving 2 times every 2 or 3 years? Let me, for the last, I guess I've asked it once before and I'm going to ask it again, just to get this clear for myself. Do you give any of this money that you're making from any of these stories to the victims or the victims' families or the people that you had depicted in those movies? Like I looked at the little boy who got shot over the card game. Do you give any of this money that you're making now to that family or to any of the families of people that you helped terrorize when you were a mobster?
Montel, there wasn't one claim put against me.
But forget the claims, Henry. I'm saying you knew who they were. Forget the claim. You knew where they were. I mean, just anonymously drop $10,000 in an envelope and send it in the mail and say, I'm sorry.
No, I haven't as of yet.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to meet some people who are outraged by the fact that some of these criminals are able to get famous and gain fame and fortune from the crimes they commit. We'll be back right after this. We've been talking about whether or not criminals and murderers should be allowed to make money off of the tragedy that they have committed. Please welcome my next guest, Mr. Jerry and Nasa Moskowitz. In 1977, their daughter Stacy became the last victim of David Berkowitz, the infamous son of Sam. Before his arrest, Berkowitz took 6 lives and terrorized New York. He's now serving a life sentence but is eligible for parole in the year 2003. Virginia Peterson, who survived a brutal attack by serial killer Richard Ramirez.
Big deal. Death always went with the territories. I'll see you in Disneyland.
Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, was convicted in 1989 of 13 murders and was sentenced to death. He's currently facing new murder charges in San Francisco and is not on death row. Also joining us is Dolores Nader. Dolores' son, John, was murdered in 1977 by serial killer John Wayne Gacy. Gacy was convicted of murdering 33 boys and now sits on death row in Illinois. And finally, joining us also is Mr. Roger Worsham. Roger is the owner of Mother Productions, a company that manufactures serial killers trading cards. And I'm digging in my pocket to kind of like just show a few of these to maybe people in the audience. Why don't you just hold that one? Take a look at it, read at the back. Read the back of the card. You take a look at this one. Here, you can take a look at that one. How about you? You take a look at one. Let's have some people peek at these. Grab one. Grab one. And while I'm passing these out, why don't we start with the Moskowitz? Could you tell us a little bit about what happened? Just bring us up to date and what happened with your daughter.
Good. What happened to my daughter? She was on a date. And this nitwit came up to the car and just killed her for no reason at all.
And you weren't aware that any of this had happened when the police called you?
Correct.
What happened? The police called you up and said there's been an accident?
No. The cop came to my house, rang the bell, and it happened to be a friend of mine, the cop, and he didn't want to tell me. He just said your daughter was in an accident. So I went down, and then we got all the good news.
You got all the good news?
That she was pretty bad.
Pretty bad.
Took 3 days, and she passed away.
And she passed away.
And the fellow with her was legally blind today. And I have to sit here and hear people collecting money for this?
For things
this
like...
man is lucky he's sitting next to me, really. If I met him in the street, it would be a big problem, I'm telling you. I can't see this.
What about the guy before him? That Henry Hill?
This is Henry Hill.
This is Henry Hill.
I'm sorry, I thought he was the one with the card.
No, this
I
is
apologize.
But I do understand. I mean, the point is, do you think, though, that they should be able to, now that the law has changed, to be able to sell manuscripts and screenplays to motion pictures?
No. I'll be very honest with you. If I get my chance, I'll take them on one at a time. And I dead serious mean it. And if they let Berkowitz out and I said it on the show, I'll wait for it. I mean it.
But let's just, I'll ask you this question, kind of crazy one, but what if Berkowitz tomorrow sells a book, a manuscript, for $35 million? The question, people are shaking their head in the audience looking at me when I'm asking this question, but the question has to be asked. $35 million, and he hands the family, you, $15 million
I'm
of that.
not interested in money.
I know, I'm just so...
I go home and I see an empty room. I go to a cemetery, I see my daughter laying there. What's money going to do for me? I don't see a grandchild. I don't see her married. I have another daughter. She's now 30 years old. She went through this bit. She's been divorced twice. She goes to school again. Now she's going into the Navy. She was lost for 10 years.
But what do you think if Berkowitz, let's say he doesn't give you any of it, he gives it to his friends, some of his family members.
Well,
do you think it's okay for him to be able to make that kind of money?
I think it's a very sick situation.
No.
I don't understand this country at all. I don't understand the judges.
The law stinks.
Okay, well... Virginia, a man like this that says, I'll see you in Disneyland, he is going to get an opportunity, maybe, who knows, the way the court system is...
Does the public really feel, I know I don't, that he should walk around scot-free and laughing in everybody's face? I don't. I think he should be ashamed of himself. He shouldn't have a right to live. And I happen to have looked at the movie. I saw the movie and I enjoyed it.
But but what happened is this is a society where the laws are set up in a certain way.
Society.
It is a sick society, but this is the way the law has been set up and established, and so he is doing what is legally okay in this country.
But is that right?
But the lawyers also make a bundle out of it.
What's that?
The lawyers also make a bundle out of it.
The lawyers are sitting on a fat income from all this.
Okay, and I understand that.
He's got a lawyer. You can tell him whatever you want. So you can bet me.
Even Ramirez, even Berkowitz. They were nowhere. They were no one until they came along.
They became heroes.
Heroes.
Oh, let's hear a little bit about Ramirez. And Virginia, you are now known as the survivor of this guy. Is that correct?
I choose to be known as the survivor rather than as victim, and that's a conscious decision I have made. Unfortunately, the public today has blurred the line between infamous and famous. When you stop to think about a year ago, that General Schwarzkopf was in the news probably equally as much as Jeffrey Dahmer. And people put them in the same category, and they're not the same caliber of man.
But we as a society are allowing that to happen. We would spend more time 2 or 3 weeks ago watching the trial of Dahmer, if it was on this, whatever the station is called, it's like the crime station or the court station. People spent more time watching that than even paying attention to the presidential candidates' debates. This is what this country seems to be hungry for.
You're absolutely right.
And what needs to be done, and there are many victims throughout the United States that are uniting together to try and educate the public, to try and give them the information so that they can make a conscious choice if this is what they want. Because unfortunately, there is only movie producers, book writers out there telling the glorification of the criminal.
And making him look really glorified.
That's right.
I want everyone in the audience that I just gave a card to stand up. If you receive the card, stand up for a second. Let me see where you are. What do you think about this card?
I think it's sick.
And who did you have? You had David Berkowitz. You had the Berkowitz card. And it's got a picture of Berkowitz on the front with a whole description of what he did. Which card did you have?
I'm Richard Speck.
Richard Speck, and he was the guy who murdered all the nurses. What do you think of this?
That is sick. I don't know what he's hoping to accomplish by
producing these
cards.
Look, read the name on this one.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
We're glorifying a man who is, well, even though there may be speculation that he didn't commit the crime, we're glorifying a man who murdered the president. How about this one?
This is deranged. This is disgusting.
What's the name on it?
Sirhan.
It's Sirhan. Is another card that we glorify. How about you? What do you have?
It's John Wayne Gacy. It's just pure commercialism. It's anything to make a buck.
All right, I have
Exactly. She said it. To make a buck.
We have to take a break. And when we come back, Dolores, I want to hear a little bit about what happened with you. And then, Roger, I need you to sit here and tell us all why this is okay. And we're going to find that out as soon as we come back. We'll be back after that. We've been talking about whether or not this society turns criminals into celebrities. And, Virginia, we were talking a little bit about Richard Ramirez before we went to break. When did you feel that the tide had changed and he was being glorified or turned into a celebrity rather than being revered as the scuzzbucket that he is?
I would have to say it came during the trial when networks designed logos to enhance their coverage. Logos are something that you would think that would advertise a subject or a product to be sold. Several news stations and a local radio station designed commercials around him. For example, one local radio station would have menacing footsteps coming down a hallway, and they would say, "When someone was stalking LA, we were there." You have no idea what effect that would have on myself or my child as we were sitting in a car turning a radio station. Or you're sitting in front of a TV and you see a montage of current events and you see that hideous grin in front of you. It's a slap in the face. It's almost as if we do not count, you know, that we are cast aside and that he is put up on a pedestal for exaltation by the public. You know, again, everyone, we're cast aside.
And I understand when they made that made-for-TV movie about him, they included characters in that movie about yourself and your husband and did not even consult you. Is that correct?
Correct. There was a good 5 to 10 minute segment within the movie that preceding commercials led up to the crime, and then it showed Ramirez entering our house and committing the attempted murders. No, we were not consulted. The facts were not accurate. What was even more demeaning is that the way that the attempted murders were shown, it was shown with almost no bloodshed. It was shown without the horror or the graphics involved. And it came across as it was something almost casual, almost every day, as if you had turned on a fiction program.
And Dolores,
this was real life.
You took a bullet in the face that exited the back of your head.
Yes, a bullet came in here, traveled down my throat, down through the top of my mouth, down my throat, and this arm doesn't work too good, exited the back of my neck.
And you have to live with this pain for this, like vision problems, sinus problems, the pain in your arm.
Right.
For the rest of your life.
That's not the only pain. You know, Mr. Hill made the remark about he had a deprived childhood. I'd like to know what kind of hell of a childhood does my daughter have now? And I can guarantee you, she's not going to grow up to be a madman.
And Dolores, in your case, your son, murdered by Gacy, you have to now sit in your hometown and look at his artwork that's being sold. Is that correct?
That's right. In Montel, I've been fighting justice since September 15, 1977. When my son left my home, he came for dinner, and he left and he said, "Mom, I'll see you tomorrow." I never saw him after that until December 23rd, 1978, when Johnny was positively identified. When I reported him missing after September 15th, The officer who took the story said he was a runaway. From that day on, justice has not been served. He was not a runaway. He had nothing to run away from. He had a good life. He was going to college. He was going to become an accountant. When he left my home that night, he said, "Mom, I think I'm going into construction." I said, "Oh, no, sweetie, don't do that. Stick with accounting." Little did I know that John Wayne Gacy was involved in construction. My son must have been one that he approached, like many other boys that I have heard about who live in my own neighborhood. I asked the officers if they would like a picture of my son or be aware of his habits. They said no, it's not necessary. But later on, when he was positively identified, they came to my home and said, "Do you have a picture of Johnny?" Sure, then do I have a picture of Johnny. I did. John Wayne Gacy killed 33 young men and boys.
And Dolores,
unbelievable.
In knowing that this guy killed that many people, what do you think of that?
You know, I'm here between this man who's making a living, making these cards, and this man who is making a living by doing wrong. I'm the type of person who wouldn't go without putting a dime in the parking meter, and look at what I'm facing. Is it fair? Is there justice? No, there isn't justice.
Not for the victim. There's no justice. Not for the victim. For the criminal. For him. For him. Not for the victim.
Roger, you're listening to victims. Why would you make that card?
We made a series of murderer cards. It's one of many different card sets that we do.
I got them all. I got the whole box full. But why? Did you talk to any of these people before you embarked on making these cards? Did you talk to one victim? Did you ask a person what they might think about before you made these cards? No. No, I want to hear from Roger. Did you?
No.
Justify it to me. This is everybody, you know, I'm not trying to belabor your pain, but I have to say, okay, I like to make money. Everybody likes to make. Everybody here like to make money?
Right, yes.
This is this kind of a society, we want to make money. Is that the purpose? You want to make money? Be upfront.
Yes, I'd like to make a living, yes.
Make a living, so why this way? I mean, there's a whole bunch. You could have made celebrity cards or baseball cards, maybe. I don't know. Baseball cards, I think, is a market. You got to be certainly licensed for that. But talk shows, cards.
all the card sets.
That was a pretty funny man right there.
All the card sets you're mentioning would take licenses or a lot of money to buy these card sets.
So you don't need a license to do this?
No, this is one of quite a few different subjects that we have done. It's no different than talk shows, like your talk show or other talk shows doing...
Oh, what we're trying to do is put our point, get our point up.
Isn't this what is called public domain?
This is public domain. It is, once we put it on the air. Now, the card thing, though, what happens now that the law has been overturned? Could Sirhan sue your company for a piece of the money that you sell?
I'm sure that anybody could sue our company. We produced the first set of cards 2 years ago.
But could Lee Harvey Oswald sue you? Well, he couldn't. He's dead.
No, he's dead.
I'm sorry, I stood in it. Well, you know, Berkowitz, could he get a piece? I would assume, since he's allowed to now make money off of this, using his likeness in any way, shape, or form, should benefit him. So therefore, you have to send him a check once every now and then.
Well, we haven't sent a check to any one of these people.
Okay. And Gacy, would you, if let's say the court tomorrow says to you, you owe them their just reward for what you have done, well, you'd have to send Gacy a check. Would you go away remembering Dolores was sitting here beside you, knowing that you have just put a check in this man's pocket?
We wouldn't send a check to any one of the murderers.
Gacy will get him to send him a check because Gacy is a con artist and nothing more. And he'll get you to send him a check.
Okay, if you don't send Gacy a check, the checks are going in your checking account, your own checking account.
Montel?
And you have Dolores sitting beside you.
The problem with something of this nature happens to you, you're set on a public display. People hold us up as oddities, as freaks, to be paraded around. nothing that we can do or say is protected. We can be set out on display. There have been movies made about people here. There have been books written, and no one asks us.
Believe me, Virginia, I don't have you here to be an oddity or display.
I know you don't, and I appreciate that.
No, I have you here right now so that this country and some of these people that are running for office can see you and see your pain and realize that this is happening, and also realize that these people might make money off your pain.
And thank God for people such as you and others that allow the victims, that give them a chance to stand up and establish that, you know, we are here and we do have feelings.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Diana, and I am a parent of a murdered child, and I'm standing here holding Jeffrey Dahmer's card. Depicted is a face and then sections of body like a chopped roast and so forth. My son was not chopped up like this, but I lost a son, and I'm shaking holding this card, and I'm trying to look you straight in the eye and say, I am hurting, and I can't believe that you're making money on somebody else's pain and hurt and grief. And I work with parents of murdered children all the time, and it's very painful, very painful. Extremely sad.
Roger, you can't just sit there and look back. You got to say something. Tell me something.
You know, it's okay for Newsweek to put Jeffrey Dahmer on the cover and have a very large selling issue, or it's okay to make these movies. We only produce 10,000 of these card sets. They're very limited edition. They say adults only. They're not glorifying anyone in particular. They're a factual set. People have actually made money on the cards.
To say adults only. Do you stand there when they buy them? I don't care what
it does say adults only on the box.
It says Roger, it says adults. It says adults only on cigarette packs. We'll be back right after this.
Come on.
We've been looking at whether or not crime pays, and Roger, again, a lot of people are asking the question, and I'm going to get on your side for a second. I mean, if there was a product that in this society, because this is covered by the First Amendment, is that correct?
Yes.
It's also covered by interstate commerce. There's nothing that would prohibit you from doing this. So what's the matter with the man making money? What's the matter? Here.
First of all, I don't see how someone can take the lives of victims, their parents, and take them and just brutalize them with seeing these cards of the people that killed their children or their families. How can you do that? I mean, you're just sitting here on the show just to make money, to make a profit, because when people see the show, that's why you're here. I don't think you're here because you have no feelings for these families. I think you're just here because you want people to make money off of your product.
What do you say, Roger?
The show hasn't told the people where to buy the cards or how much they are, so I'm not getting paid to be on the show. Under the First Amendment, I do have the right to do this. This is artwork. I have had mothers.
Wait.
Artists.
We have to hear what Roger has to say. Go ahead.
Both the artists are graduates of the Otis Parsons Art School, very prestigious art school. Cards have gone to museums. They have been ordered by police departments. They have been ordered by ministers. I have had mothers write me and tell me that these cards are educational value on what not to be. I have had more positive letters than I have negative.
Yes, sir.
Okay, to both the gentlemen on the end, do either one of you donate any of money that you make to victims of crimes, or
yes, they donate it in their pocket.
Anything?
How about it, Roger? Have you donated any of the profits that you've derived from this to any of the victims?
Well, it's not like I make millions like selling a movie. I only do 10,000 of the card sets, and then they're sold out.
They're sold out now?
The first set is sold out.
Do you intend to make them again?
I hope the
No.
machine breaks.
Sir, I'm sorry. I have to tell you that this is extremely sick. Do you sell these with gum? I mean, are you...
There is only one card company that's allowed to sell gum with their cards. We do not put gum on our
This
cards.
does market to children because these look like baseball cards.
No, they're in a box that says adults only.
All right, we've got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. We've been talking about whether or not crime pays, and you had a statement?
This is to Roger. Roger, I teach high school, and I have a sophomore who's been fascinated with those cards. If you think it's different It's not any different than talk show hosts. You better think twice. This kid's personality has changed. He comes in every day. He is fascinated with Charles Manson, Berkowitz. It's disgusting what has happened to this kid. He writes stuff on my board. He couldn't wait for these cards to come out. He has 2 sets of them. Adults only doesn't work.
Rod, what do you say?
You can probably go into any library, including the school library, and pick out one of many volumes of books on murders.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Just one question.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I would like to know if any of these gentlemen, I don't even wish it on them, I mean, God forbid, one of their children were murdered, would they be doing the same damn thing they're doing now? That's what I want to know.
Roger, let's say, hypothetically speaking, would you feel the same way if a member of your family was a victim of one of these people that you created a card for?
This set of cards that I do is
Answer
one...
the question.
I am, if you give me a chance.
Now, directly.
This set of cards that I do is one of 15 sets of cards that I have out. It's the only one on murders.
That's not the answer.
This would have to be hypothetical because I don't have any children.
Okay, how about your mother? Your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your father, your grandmother, a family member.
I believe by the fact that a lot of people are taken back by the cards, it doesn't glorify them. If anything, it makes people want to have something else done to these people that have perpetrated the crimes, the murderers. I'm not glorifying them.
Okay, just a second. Let me get a question right here. Yes, ma'am.
I hate to do this, but I feel like we're directing our anger at almost not the wrong person, but we need to dig into the people who are making the laws. He's just doing what he sees as what's going to make him money, and it's not him. He's just working with the system. We need to reach the people up higher who can change things. He cannot change anything. Someone else is just going to make the cards if he doesn't. I think we need to reach higher.
There's already
and that's an interesting point because
there's already 2 other companies that have produced these cards.
And that's a very interesting point because right now there's a proposed bill to outlaw serial killer trading cards. Legislation in Maryland and Arkansas have been introduced in an emergency bill format to prohibit the sale of trading cards depicting criminals who have committed heinous crimes and propose there be a misdemeanor penalty for any violation of the printing of those cards. We have to take a break, and right after this, we'll be right back to finish up and see if we can get to a bottom line.
Accommodations for guests on the Montel Williams Show are provided by the Sheraton Los Angeles Airport, the most convenient airport hotel in Los Angeles.
We've been talking about whether or not crime pays, whether or not serial killers, murderers, people on death row should have the right to make money off of the heinous crimes that they've committed. And Dolores, there is a movie that's been made and it's going to come out about Gacy. Is that correct?
Right. The movie already did run in Canada. That's where it was produced. And now it's going to run in Illinois in the month of May. This is what I have to look forward to. I called the studio and they said there's no way they're going to stop it. And they said they had permission to do this movie. And I said, nobody asked me. And they said, well, we're not glorifying Gacy. We're glorifying the detective who arrested Gacy. But Brian Donaghy is playing the part. Oh, they're advertising it all over that Brian is playing this part.
And that's right, everybody will try to watch a movie.
And I'm going to have to watch it too because I'm going to have to see it, but it is going to kill me again and again. And as for justice, I have gone to the governor.
We're almost out of time, Dolores. I know, I guess maybe the bottom line of this show is the fact that if you don't want people to sell things like these cards and items like that, ask your legislators to do the same thing that Maryland is doing in the other states and try to get these things outlawed so people who are victims don't have to deal with it. I have to thank my guests, Henry, Jerry, Naisha, Virginia, Dolores, Roger. Please join us on the next Montel Williams Show.
You vowed to love your spouse till death do you part. But what happens when you find out they're infected with the AIDS virus? On Wednesday's Oprah, meet married couples facing the challenge of a spouse's battle with HIV. Don't miss Oprah Wednesday at 4 on WRTV 6.
There's no place like home. Next on WRTV 6.
Viacom.